You can wait a little longer if you want. There will be more people in about. Most of the time, people get in at like 40, so let's wait like a minute. That's okay. Okay, there you are. Okay. What's your name? Alex or Alex. Okay, I guess you. Okay, guys. Please, guys, so I have announcements from Alex.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex, founder of the Smoothie DJs Guild. We're having our first event of the year. It's Relief for the Philippines, a horror at Aura nightclub on St. Laurent. It's all for charity, and it goes to relief for the Philippines and the most recent hurricane tsunami mess that's gone on there. It's all you can drink with the $20 tickets for guys, $10 for girls. This Friday, if you want the information, I'm gonna write it down on that little blackboard over there, and you can check it out later, or you can find it on Facebook. Thank you very much. I hope to see you guys there.
Yay! It is this? Is that it?
No, that's November 2nd. So
Okay.
I'm erasing that because that's
Okay, cool. So, while he is writing this. So, I don't know if you guys saw this, but now on the website you can go here, lectures under my name, and cool. So Friday's lecture is here. Well, that's the easiest way I had. Do you want to download the 1.2 gig file? Probably not. I'm yelling a lot, so I'm sorry if you're watching this. I'm yelling a lot because I want you to understand, but this is actually recording as we speak right now. So, yeah, all of my clownery are getting recorded as well. So, yay. So if you think I'm a bad prof, you can always pull up this and be like, look, that's why he's a bad prof. Tells bad jokes. Okay. So, final is written. Okay. So I quickly, on the final, so you can start to think about it. Things that will be on it. Array list. Recursion, there's one question on that. Okay, you haven't seen recursion. You will see recursions with our friend Ismail. He's a grad student as well, so he will be taking over this course. So he's going to show you recursions in Python first, and then he will show it to you in Java as well. But it is a programming concept. It is not linked to Java, so it's just an idea. So there's one question on recursion. So it's not like a million questions on recursion. There's one question. It is fairly simple to understand, especially the question in the final. So don't freak out about it, please. Okay, so do not, simple question. Okay, there it is. Simple question. Okay, after that, what else is on the final? So object-oriented, there are quite a bit of questions on it. So it starts by telling you this is a class, and then the questions are trying to build up some functions. You'll have to give it to the class, and then another class that will be using this class. So make sure you understand how objects call each other, create each other. There are some questions on static versus non-static. So we spent some time on it. I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but again, you should play around with these concepts. Look at the files we created together. This should be all right. And it is longer than the midterm. There's 70 questions. Longer. And then again here, spell check. This is not how you write longer. Excuse me?
How
Hmm?
long? 3 hours?
3 hours. There are some questions, so there are programming questions. So they're kind of weird. So and then I'll give you an example by the end of this week, so you can get used to the concept. But the idea is you are to program printing function method for an array. And then the way it works is the first question will be sort of the method call or the method like description at the top, and then the second question will be the first line you will read. The third question will be maybe a for loop here, and then on and on, and then most of them are 5 or 6 questions long. So this is a little weird. It's trying to make you build a program together, but like line by line. So you have to decide which line goes first, which line goes second, and which line goes third. I know it is a little weird. I'll give you an example so you can get ready to the concept. But then once you figure it out that the first question is the first line, second question is the second line, third question is the third line, you can sort of build a program that will do what it is asked. For example, you're to program a printing method for an array, so it will start with like a sort of a description of the header, so printing array, and then we'll take an array as an argument, and then first line will be a for loop, second line will be a printing or maybe a string. Yes?
Is this multiple choice?
Yeah, it's a multiple choice. So this is why I said it's a little weird. So first multiple choice, it has A, B, C, D, E. So you have to pick one of these choices as the first line. So this is true. And then these, if you don't understand how to program, these questions are going to be very hard for you. As they sort of like, there's only one path valid through the 6 questions. So it gives us 5 times 6, so that gives you that many possibilities. Is that? I'm not sure. Whatever. So this is just to warn you up. Yes. Yeah, we wrote the final. It's all multiple choice. Okay, when I said final is written, or I'll say ready here. We did that over the weekend. It was fantastic. Lots of emails exchanged. Okay, so we'll see these concepts, and we'll play around with these concepts later this week. Okay. So, any questions on that?
What does the OOP stand for?
Object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming. No errors. Yes. And OOP. And then I'll be writing a paper. Okay. Yes.
Is it still a pirate ship for this one?
A pirate ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a cheat sheet. Yeah, you can if you want to have a pirate ship, it's fine. Yes.
Do we have a review class?
Yeah. So last week will probably be like all review. I'm not sure yet. I have to figure this out as I'm leaving and coming back, and then when I come back, I'm probably gonna just do reviews or sort of like describe object oriented again and things like that. So it's not like the only concept you haven't seen is this, and then you will see next week, and it's a very simple question. It's nothing complicated because it could get very complicated with recursion, but this is going to be pretty straightforward. Okay. Cool. So now let's start this fantastic lecture. So last Friday we saw something that was very cool. We saw try, catch, and then exception. Today we are going to read a file. Read a file. Text file. Read a text file. Okay. So let's say I have a file with different names, and this is to help you out with assignment 4. So in assignment 4, you need a file with like names or for guys. So that's John, Jonathan, Joel, Johnny. They're all J's. Cool. So here's my file, and then I'll call this file's names.txt. Okay, so here's my file, and I would like to read this file and then print it out. Okay, so I want to read this file with Java and then print out these names in Java. And if you've done assignment 4 already, this is going to be a little boring, but sorry, it's part of what we have to do. So here, good old Google, read file Java. And then this is what you should do if you try to read a file in Java. Best way to read a text file. Cool. This is fantastic. And here, I'm going to be awesome and just copy and paste this. And then here, I copied and paste. Okay. And then, so, here my file is called names.txt. Names.txt. Okay. Do you guys know Wu Frank? I found his student ID. Wu Frank. He's Chinese. Well, looks Asian, sorry. I don't mean to be. That doesn't mean he's Chinese. Okay. So his card's there. If you know him, let me know. Or let him know that I have his student card. Okay. And then here, finally, this should be here. Okay. So is this proper? No, this should all be tab 1s. There you go. Okay, so here I'm trying to read names.txt, and then I'm just going to do the silly things where I just copy and paste, and then I'll try to figure out what's going on to make it work. So Command R. A bunch of errors. Well, we could expect that as I just copy and paste. So now let's look at this thing. Cannot find symbol, buffer reader. So, what's a buffer reader? Copy and paste buffered reader Java. Here, reads text from a character input stream. It is part of Java I/O. So I'm just gonna import this, and hopefully this will be enough to make this thing work. Hey. Other errors. Okay. 4. New file reader. Unreport exception Java I/O file not found exception must be caught or declared. We saw that before. We saw that when we had the try and catch. Remember when I created, I think I can probably get this thing from the trash from Friday. What's the file we created on Friday? Oh, let's just go here. Com202 lectures, Jonathan lecture, Friday, and then save link as. Let's stop. Stop. Here, Sublime. Okay, so if you recall, there's a bunch of stuff here, but if you recall, at the end of the lecture, we had do input that will throw an exception, and if I didn't put that call for that particular method inside a try, so for example here, okay, so now let's look at throwing an input. Do input, since you declare do input to return an exception, then you should put that method inside a try and catch. And if I redo this again, here I have unreport exception Java must be caught or declared to be thrown. So if we're back to our code, this is the same error. So here what it is telling me is line 46 should be inside a try. Okay, let's do this. Let's take this reader here And then let's put this equal to null. Let's say br equal new file reader. Okay. And then command. Here, more errors. Okay. But you see, it's not that complicated. Must be caught or declared to be thrown. Line 61. So this again should be inside a try and catch. So let's just do try. And then catch exception E, and then no, not private, print the exception. Okay. Ah, almost there. Almost there. Must be caught or declared to be thrown. Still, you're inside a try. Okay. So, am I missing some import? Unreport exception must be caught. Yeah. Yeah. So this is inside a try. Okay. This is weird. I didn't have that error last time. Anyone have an idea? No? No ideas over there why it's not working?
Oh, well, firstly, you have to import file reader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, the import is okay. I just get another try and catch problem. So let's put another try here. No. Okay, so I'll remove this. And here I'm just gonna do string line equal, and here this be the string. So here I'm deleting this. Oh man, what's going on? This is really weird. So, because this is really weird, I'm gonna download this. I'm just gonna be cheating a little bit. And then look at what I wrote the other day to make it. So read superfile and Sublime. So, try string. Wow. Oh, okay. So let's just put this here. Let's remove this from here. Whoa, more errors. Maybe I have to catch it. But did I catch it here? Yeah, I catch something here. Okay. Yeah, I had to catch it. Who said I had to catch it? Thank you so much. You saved me. You see, we're working together, like a swarm of intellectual people working together to read a file. Okay. Okay, so now finally is kind of boring. Remove that. Okay. Ha! Now I changed a bunch of stuff. I mesmerized all of you, and then it's going to move on to another topic. Kidding. Okay. So here, let's think a little bit about what happened and what I kind of like did in my head to sort of fix it. So first we have a buffer reader that will read the actual file equal to null. Because I only used some code from the internet, I'm perfectly fine with this. Here I have new file reader. So file reader is something that will actually pick up the file and go read it. So now here, if I put a bunch of names here, I'm going to have an exception throw no such file or directory, which is getting thrown from this exception over here. That's fine. So I'm happy my code is actually working. And then this is what you should do in assignment 4 as well. And then here what I'm doing is I'm putting this in buffer reader. And if I go back inside buffer reader here and look at some of the method, here there's read line, reads a line of text. So what happened here is this read the file, so it took like all of the ASCII characters and transformed it into a buffer reader. What the buffer readers allow you to do is say, give me a line. So it's sort of looking. So let's say the buffer reader is where this thing is flashing, and when I say give me a line, it grabs the first line, returns it as a string, and then waits over here. So it's sort of like it reads as it goes along. If I say give me a character, for example, mark, close, read this. So if I say read, it's just going to give me a character, so it's going to give me J, for example, after I said read a line. But if I'm just saying read a line, so it's going to go through this file line by line and then give me back these values. So here, so this is what it's doing. So first I say, okay, I'll use this string called line, and then it's simply going to read the line. And then as long as line is not equal to null, I'll print the line, and then I'll read the next line. If you look at this file here, so it reads this line, reads Jean, reads Jonathan, Joel, Johnny, and then when it gets there and it tries to run the rest, I'm pressing down, there's nothing. So eventually this method, read line, will return null because there's nothing more inside that file. And then it's gonna get out of that while loop, and then it's gonna close it, and then as we run it, hello. No problem. You're always welcome in this course. And then here, as you can see, I get all of these names getting read and getting explicitly told that they're there. So this is exactly what you have to do, but there's a little trickery in the assignment. You need an array list. So here, array, I'll have to import it. So import array. No, import java.util, and then just import everything. So here I can say array list of string, call a equal new array list of string. So here, if we follow this logic of what's going on, when I say line equal read next line, well, what I can do here is I can say, okay, instead of printing the line, I'm going to add this string to my array list. So I can say add a.add line. And then here in the end, I'm just going to print the value of the array list, A. And now I have this beautiful array list with what I've read from names. And then here, if I want to say Père Noël, and then I press enter and save this file, and then now I can read it, and now I have Père Noël inside my list. So I read the file, and I copied it. I copied all of these different lines of these strings inside my array list, and then now I have access to this fantastic print A. Reading a file is very complicated if you start digging into the idea of what's going on. Here, the logic is simple. You create a buffer reader, you grab a new file reader, you put that into the constructor of buffer reader, and then from the buffer reader, you read each line one after the other. It's supposed to be simple, and then it shouldn't go more complicated than that for you. If you're interested in more what's going on, go read the Wikipedia article. I think that will be your best resource. Okay. And then here, for example, if I just add a bunch of spaces, I get a bunch of spaces as an entry. So be careful what you add in your text file. So let's remove these. Any questions on reading a file and putting it into an array list? Yes.
Well, I was just still confused about try and catch. Why, like, you need to add the catch at the end before.
Apparently, finally was not enough. It needed a catch of an exception because it might throw an error. I don't understand why the finally was not enough. So the piece of code that I copied and pasted was probably from a Java 5, an older Java structure, or maybe Java 7 allows you to do things like that. So, and then he's using string builder, which is a little more complicated to use. Here, another way to do things. And there are multiple ways in Java to actually read files, and that's why I showed you this as I copied and pasted, but you guys can go ahead and read files as much as you want or differently. Here, this sounds like a lot of fun. Let's try this out. So inside this try here, let's just do this. Okay, so here is names.txt. No, cannot find. What's file.util then? File.util library is very handy for this. Java. Okay. Doesn't seem to be. Wow. Where's that thing? I've never seen that before. This is fantastic. Let's try to import it. It might not work. It does not work because I probably don't have this package installed on my computer. So, Java is a fantastic world of discovery. That's what I'm discovering. Okay. Okay, so this file will be online and you'll be able to start your assignment using this file as well if you prefer. Okay, so what time do we have? We have 4 o'clock. Okay, one thing we didn't have time to see was hash table. And then I'll finish the lecture. Okay, any questions on reading a file? I think it's pretty straightforward with the level you guys have right now. We're not very interested in, are we okay? Cool. It is supposed to be a no-brainer for you to just read this file. If there's an error, you catch it, you print it, you do nothing with it. We're just interested in reading this file and then turn it into an array list. Okay, hash table, fun, and there are no questions on the final about reading a file. So you should feel comfortable that if it works for your assignment, you'll be okay. So, public class hash table, fun. Okay, so we saw that here. I have the main. If you recall from last week, we saw that finding an element in an array list might be expensive if the array list is very long. In fact, it was worst case scenario could be looking at all of the possible candidates, and then you saw that in the linear search. If you compare linear search versus binary search, the time it took in the assignment, linear search was a lot bigger than binary search. This was because linear search was going through all of the array and took a little longer. And we saw that if we are interested in, if we're not interested in the, I should have this thing here, where this spell check. Okay. If we're not interested in the order, we can use an hash set in order to gain time over accessing a particular entry, or to know if an entry is part of the or set. Okay, let's say set here. Okay. So in fact, here we had constant time, where it was just a question of calculating a mathematical function over the entry, and then yes.
Quick question: is the spell check doing linear search? I thought about
His spell check, yeah, I think spell check should be doing a linear search because you have to look at everything in order to make sure that. But spell check is probably doing linear search. Will it? Spell checking is a very interesting problem. We should have an assignment about this. So, okay, so for example, if I enter length like this, okay, and we know we have a dictionary, or we have an array list of words. How do you find the closest? Like, how do you measure what does this word mean? So we know that length is written like this. Well, at least you guys know, not me. So how do you compare these two words and then say, oh, this is the actual word he was trying to? So when I right click like this, there's only one. But then if I try to write decidingly, here you get confidently. But maybe this is not what I try. So how do you know? This is a very interesting problem. It has so there's some probability function over it. You can as well have a type of user. What kind of errors do I do? So you can like define a profile that will change the probability distribution over what sort of errors I will do. So given this, maybe you would change. So how do you compare to a word that you've written all weirdly, and then find in your list, and then do you do a linear search inside your array list? Because this is going very fast. This is probably not what they're doing right now. They probably don't have like the big long array list where they're looking at each one of them. They probably have like some utility function or some mapping that will go into another world and then look at these. So this is very interesting. Yeah, I can. Okay, I'll stop here. So I think I'll do that next semester as an assignment. Have a dictionary and try to correct words as the input or guesses. Oh, that's very good. Thank you. It's probably going to be a nightmare for the other students. Okay. Any questions on spell checking? Oh, as well, if you're interested, you can always do that. Spell checking. How does it work? And then here, Wikipedia already has something for you. And then history. And here, context spell, blah, 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 blah. Grammar checker. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's go back to our world of hash set. Okay, so in the hash set, we only had entries, and then nothing was linked to these entries. We only had entries. Okay. Maybe we would like to have knowledge about the entry. What I mean, so if I have a bunch of usernames in Reddit, I would like to know what is their Reddit score. So for example, if I had the word, like if I have my username, maybe you would like to know what's my my Reddit score, and then if I have, I don't know, someone else, maybe their score is this, and then on and on. So can I represent this? Right now with the hash set, I was only able to put a bunch of user and then have these representations in the user. So nothing was linked to these user, only their name was there. There's another data structure that allows you to have a key and then a value next to that key. So it says a key is and then equal and then has a value linked to it. So this is hash table. Alright, so let's import java.util. Okay. So here hash table h equal new hash table. Okay, so all again. Oh yeah. So this is a little different. And here, integer. I cannot do that. So here is the key, saying the key would be represented as a string, and here is the value next to it. In Python, this is described as a dictionary. And then it's a little easier to think about it. If you have the entry of a word in a dictionary, so example, I don't know, apple. So you'll find apple somewhere in a dictionary. And then next to it, there'll be a description. So a dictionary could be seen as string and string like this, where we'll have the key, string, and then the actual value string next to it. And then inside the value, I have a description of what is an apple. Here, I'll put integer because I want to represent users. So here, I'll do this. Here, username. And then value is Reddit score. So, does that work? No, it doesn't. This is not how you write hash table, I'm pretty sure. So hash table is written like this, but you can see if I go see the documentation, I have class hash table key value. So here. Okay, so it's finished, does not crash, and then now I can write okay, so here this should be let's put Reddit user score, and here I can go. Okay, I'm not sure how you add stuff, so let's look at this. These methods, so I have a clear, clone, elements, entry, equal, get, keys, key set, put. So put is the word that I was looking for. It's not add for the hash table. It's put, maps the specified key to a specified value in this hash table. And then you should read more. The value can be retrieved by calling get method with a key that is the original key. For example, this is missing the information that if there's no key, for example, John, it will create the key John for you. Okay, so here it was not get, it was, oh, I forgot. What was it set? Put. And here I'm gonna add a string. And here I'm going to give it a score. And then again here, I can add another one, which is gtram 59, and then minus 10. Okay. And then now I could say print Reddit user score, and then dot get, and then I'll give it gtram blay. So I'm interested in finding the score of that user. So now I can do that, and I get 1,000. And maybe I did a bad post or a bad, oh well, I sent a bad link, so I am losing score. So in order to do that, you can just say same thing here, but you have some manipulation to do. You know it's an integer, so you can go int, I'll call this temp score is equal to get, and then temp score minus equal, let's say 100, because I was very bad and I lost 100 points to my score. But then now I need to update that score, so update the score now. And then you do the same thing as put. So put is used in two ways. It's used to create an actual entry with a value, but as well to change an entry with a value. So now I can do temp score, and then if I print out again the value of my user J Tremblay, I get 1,000, and after that I get 900. So this is how you use a hash table. But here, if you've been paying close attention, there's nothing stopping me here to have something bigger than just an integer. I can actually put a whole class. So here, if I had this class called public class player.java, and then here I can have different, I don't know, int lives, public int power attack, public string, awesome name, and so on. And so on. And then now you need a constructor to build this class if you want, but here there's nothing stopping me and saying the value of the key can be anything, e.g. here instead of integer I'm gonna add control it, I'll have player. Oh, and then in the end I know what I'm gonna do for the next 5 minutes. But yeah, here instead of Reddit user score, I'll have a hash table of players, and then here I can have players. No, here I can have players dot put, and I can have John, Nick, and then new player. And then here, for example, I can have Lauren, and then print line players, not players. Here, and then for example, just for the sake of it, to public string to string, then return. Hello, I am a player. And just for showing you that when I print it out, here I get Lauren, it says hello, I'm a player, and then John, hello, I'm a player. So if you had a definition of if I was, because now I didn't put anything in these class variables, but if I was to put something, I could actually use this here and then print out which player do I have. Okay. So this was the idea of hash table. It's a little more powerful than the hash set we had before, but this is pretty cool. Are we fine with this? Yeah, most of you. Cool. Okay, and then in the end, what I would like to show is, so I went on and then found the winners of the Scratch contest. Here, winners to a vote. So here, okay, so I'll go the other way around. Okay, so third position was Pong Game. Beer pong or pong game? It's pong game. It's not beer pong. It's not that cool. But Okay, and then here you can play. I don't know how you play. I don't remember. Oh! This is cool.
I think you have to be stage.
I don't know if there's sound. No sound. But yeah, so this guy wrote Pong. That's pretty cool. So this was our third place from the votes on Reddit. So I only looked at up votes. I didn't look at down votes. Okay, so second position we had. Okay, here. Second position you had this one. And this one has sound. Yeah. So I don't know if yeah, it works. So if I press an arrow,
I know, right?
This is hours and hours of that.
yeah. So that's what our second position, and then the first one was okay. So if you were in my section, if you're here right now, I think you wrote it, right? Do you want to talk to us about it, or you don't feel like coming here? It's okay. Okay. So this one's pretty interesting. I think it has music as well. There's a beautiful punchline to this one. I'm not going to play it. You should definitely go on and look this up. It's really interesting. Yeah, so I'm not going to play it more than this. Okay, so this one is going to deserve the jam. I should have brought the jam. I should have remembered it was in this section. But yeah, go look this up. And have a good weekend. A good week. Not weekend, week.
Honestly, yeah, draw all of them.